It is the longest, loudest argument in modern history. A fight that outlived revolutions, toppled empires, and split the world in half. For over a century, capitalism and socialism weren't just theories, they were battle lines. But behind every political speech, every uprising, and every recession, the truth shows itself with brutal clarity. Neither system ever worked the way the textbooks promised. For millennia, human life was a zero-sum game. Wealth was based on land and labor, and progress moved slower than glaciers. Then, the Industrial Revolution arrived in the late 1700s. Suddenly, private capital, iron and steam unleashed unprecedented productivity. For the first time, individuals could own, invest, and risk on a scale reserved only for kings before. Capitalism produced wealth the world had never seen, but it also delivered brutal misery. Pollution choked cities, children worked 12-hour shifts, and inequality widened faster than anyone could comprehend. Socialism was born as a desperate reaction to this industrial brutality. Thinkers like Karl Marx argued that this wealth was stolen labor, exploitation disguised as opportunity. They proposed that if workers collectively owned the factories, the profits would be shared, and rational planning would replace the cycles of boom and bust. It sounded elegant, moral, and like justice. Theory is one thing, real life is another. The 20th century became a global laboratory. After the 1917 Russian Revolution, the Soviets installed a new operating system: central planning. State ownership of everything. Prices set by bureaucrats, profit motives replaced by production targets. In theory, this created perfect efficiency. In practice, it created chaos. Without market prices, planners didn't know what to produce, leading to chronic shortages. Without personal rewards, workers had no reason to innovate or exceed the minimum. The economy collapsed under the weight of its own rigid inefficiency, leading to famine and stagnation. Meanwhile, capitalism was suffering its own heart attack. Unregulated markets, speculation, and trusts led to wild instability. This imbalance detonated in 1929, when the US stock market imploded. The Great Depression wasn't a recession. It was a global financial disaster. Banks collapsed, unemployment hit 25%, and millions concluded that the system was fatally flawed. By the 1930s, the world faced an uncomfortable truth. Pure socialism delivered scarcity and repression. Pure capitalism delivered prosperity for some, but catastrophic instability for all. Neither system worked as advertised. The war forced both systems to their maximum limits. The Soviet Union mobilized its entire population with terrifying state discipline. Capitalist nations like the US transformed into industrial supermachines, proving how powerful private innovation could be when backed by national coordination. When the war ended, the world became divided, and the real experiment, the Cold War, began. The West won the Cold War because capitalism adapted. Governments learned from the Depression's mistakes and introduced guardrails: regulation, deposit insurance, antitrust laws, social security, and unemployment benefits. Capitalism didn't become fair, but it became survivable. It learned to dampen the worst of its own instability. The Soviet system, by contrast, refused to evolve. It lagged decades behind in consumer technology. The economy drifted into absurd inefficiency, constantly meeting quotas with unusable goods. By the time the Berlin Wall fell in 1989, the Soviet Union was defeated not by bombs, but by empty shelves and broken incentives. History's verdict was clear: the system that adapts wins. The Soviet Union, designed to eliminate market chaos, collapsed under its own rigid planning. Western economies were simply more productive, innovative, and adaptable. Capitalism's victory lap didn't last long. By the 1990s and 2000s, it evolved again, leading to staggering wealth gaps and runaway speculation. The 2008 financial crisis served as a brutal reminder that capitalism's instability never truly disappeared. It just wore new clothes. Today, the debate is no longer about purity. Look at modern success stories like Scandinavia. They have free markets and global corporations, but also high taxes, strong social security, and powerful unions. This is capitalism with guardrails, a mixed economy engineered to preserve innovation while protecting citizens. Even China, the world's largest authoritarian capitalist economy, relies on state-directed markets for growth. Every major economy today is a hybrid, a necessary blend of markets and state power, incentives and protections. This isn't proof that one ideology won. It's proof that neither could survive alone. Human nature, ambition, greed, fear, creativity, doesn't disappear under any system. It just expresses itself differently. The challenges of the 21st century, AI disruption, climate risk, global debt, don't care about ideology. They expose the weaknesses in both systems. The successful nations will be those that constantly renegotiate the balance, combining the creativity of private markets with the resilience and direction of public investment. History chose the system that prevented collapse, and every generation must fight to maintain that balance.